took a minute.
There it is. Thank you. All right. Welcome everyone to the House Ways and Means Education Subcommittee. We are going to take a look at 5 bills today. 2 of them are local, and we'll do those first. The first one is House Bill 89, which is a bill that has been amended heavily by the delegation, Baltimore County delegation. It originally came in as a bill to allow the County Inspector General to have purview over the county school board. It has been amended where the majority of the bill has been struck, and the amendment simply says that the state IG on public schools, I think it's schools, shall pursue a memorandum of understanding with the county IG on matters pertaining to school system and school board. The delegation, I think, approved unanimously once we got to that point. It took us a while to get to that. Are there any questions on the bill? Okay, seeing none.
I just want to point out it was unanimous.
Okay, good. Thank you. We have both the chair and the vice chair of the Baltimore County delegation in the room at this particular point. So there's a certain amount of expertise floating around. Are there any questions on the bill? Okay, seeing none, I'll take a motion on the amendments.
Move the bill.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'll let you do it because we're a less formal group than committee. If you want to move the bill with the amendments, that's fine with me.
No, I was going to do the amendments because you said it was heavily amended. So
it was. That's true. So okay, move the amendments then, Delegate Roberson.
I'll move the amendments.
You're awesome. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on the amendments? All in favor of the amendments, raise your hand, please. Okay, that's unanimous. And on the bill as amended.
Move favorable.
Thank you,
Second.
Delegate Patterson and Delegate Roberson. Thank you for the second. Any discussion on the bill as amended? Okay, seeing none, raise your hand if you're in favor of the bill as amended. Trust me, Vogel. There you go. And that bill will be sent to committee for a vote. The next one, we're going to jump ahead to another local bill and get that done. Baltimore County House Bill 1140. This bill establishes the county board. Baltimore County's board is a hybrid. It's currently a 7-4 hybrid. The county is moving to 9 council districts, and this bill says that the school board election districts will mirror the council districts. Not this year, because this legislation is coming too late. They will stay with the 7 board districts that exist currently, and we will get the bill. If we get this bill through, we'll go from 4 appointments to 2 appointments. I don't believe there are any amendments, are there, Alistair, other than a change of the sponsor to being Baltimore County delegation, which we don't need to move on separately. That's routine for Baltimore County to have people put in bills individually, but once they go through delegation to change the sponsor over. And that's true on the other one, by the way, also. That was part of the amendment on that bill.
Move the bill.
Yeah, move the bill as amended, sure. Do I have a second?
Second.
This one did not, by the way, just so you know, pass unanimously. Passed by Baltimore County has 20 members, needs 11. Passed by a 13-4 vote. There were a couple people not there. So I have a move and a second. Does anybody, any further discussion on the bill? Yes, Delegate Miller. You're muted. You want to unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir. Can you tell me the 4 that were against?
I don't have the list, but maybe Alistair can. I'm sure you have it.
I can pull it up. Hold on one second, Delegate.
Okay. 1140. Who in delegation voted against?
Esther, McCaskill, Phillips, Ruth.
Yeah, Delegate Ruth, Delegate Pastor, Delegate Phillips, and Delegate McCaskill voted against.
Huh. Was there like reason why it wasn't unanimous? Was there any concern?
Yeah, there's conflicting feelings about what we should do. The Senate has passed a different bill on this. And so some people agree with what the Senate did rather opposed to what we were doing.
Okay.
We're going to see. We're going to see if we can wrestle it through one way or the other by the end of the year. And I can talk to you more about it offline about how, because it's an interesting story, but I don't want to tell it here. So there you go. Thank
right,
you for
thank you.
asking.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Delegate Pastor, I see you talking. Do you want to weigh in there?
I'm just saying I can certainly speak for myself, and I think I can't speak for Delegate Ruth, but I know Phillips McCaskill and I had the same reason, which was not that we disagreed with the bill on which we're speaking now, as the chair just said. We had a different vision, and there was one in the Senate, and we just like that one in terms of moving forward, but not because we did not like the one that on which we're speaking.
And that's absolutely true. That what we call TABCO, most other would call them, FCEA, the Frederick Educators Association. In Baltimore County, it's called TABCO, Teachers Association of Baltimore County. They favored even a more extreme version of all 9 being elected. And so this bill moved toward that. And that's why Delegate Pastor wants to point out that wasn't a bad idea. And it's interesting because the law's in conflict with itself. It says there shall be one from each, there'll be 7 members elected, 1 from each council district. That's, of course, since the council districts have gone to 9. And so the AG gave opinion that the 7 was prevalent for now. So this year, we will elect 7 members and keep the 4 appointeds around. But that will have to change because the appointments occur in presidential years. And so we'll have to figure out how many we're appointing out after 2027 session. Are we appointing 2 or 4 after those appointments run out?
And we just wanted to see this one through and see how it looked, how it turned out.
Well, and I'm sure the Senate will send us theirs, and we'll, and probably end up in front of delegation, and maybe here we'll see. Maybe our delegation won't do anything with it. We'll have to see what happens there. It's a bit of a tug of war, but we'll sort it out eventually. All right, thank you. Did I get a vote on that, Alistair? I can't remember.
No vote. It's been moved and seconded, however.
Okay. All in favor of the bill as it came in from the delegation, please raise your hands. And I think we're unanimous. I didn't see Roberson. We'll let him yell out if he says no. Okay, so we have 6 people here. We're missing 1 member at this point. Not going to call him out, but we'll do that part. All right, so that's 2 bills. Next bill is House Bill 352, Concentration of Poverty Grant Program, eligible uses of the money. This, if you're a careful reader, you will find that the section that is in this bill is just one section of a larger bill that exists, what we call the blueprint bill. But Delegate Wims felt this part was important enough that should the blueprint bill run into trouble, he wanted this part to certainly get through. And what this says is that the money can be used for general programmatic things if they are needed at that school. Alistair, I might not have said that correctly. I want to get the language correct on that.
So thank you, Mr. Chair. Under the blueprint as it initially passed, there is a concentration of poverty grant fund that goes to community schools. It consists of 2 sub-grants, one of which is a personnel grant and the other of which is the larger concentration of poverty grant. The acceptable uses for the first are to hire a community school coordinator and other personnel that might be needed at the community school, including health personnel. The second use is to provide wraparound services that are in the community school's needs assessment plan. There was language in the first 5-6 years of the blueprint allowing that both funds to be used for a limited period of time in order to get specific instructional programs.
Like a music program, right? Something like that.
Music program,
For
potentially robotics program, all sorts of, there's a lot of different types of programs that the State Board of Education has adopted regulations for and spelled out what is required to teach.
And so this bill extends the amount of time that can be done. Actually, ad infinitum, it strikes out the end of that kind of use of the concentration of poverty grants, right?
That's right, sir.
Sorry, when I know something, I have to interrupt you and show everybody that I know. So, so the amendment simply strikes out and the year and extends it to in perpetuity. It also strikes out a kind of unnecessary reference to one particular kind of program that exists in Comar. It refers to the entire Comar group, so nothing's been cut out that's going to be focused on here. It seems a little superfluous to have it in there at this time.
Move the amendments.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the amendments? Okay, seeing none, I'll take I'll take a vote on the amendments. All in favor, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Delegate Miller, are you raising your hand or not? Okay, 6. Got to wait for you. You know, you got good opinions there. And on the bill as amended, then.
I have a special guest here who's gonna sit with me as I move the bill.
Yay! It's the sponsor. All right. Do you want to second the bill, Wims, in Delegate Pasteur's voice, please?
Second the bill.
Thank you, Delegate Pasteur. I certainly do appreciate that.
No comment.
I don't think that was a very good imitation, I have to tell you.
I think not.
You can have at him later.
I
Sort of me
certainly
too.
will.
Certainly me too for setting him up for that. All right. All in favor of the bill as amended, please raise your hand. And there we go. We're 6-0. Okay. That's House Bill 352. Now we're on House Bill 531. This is a bill that I like to refer to affectionately as WooBots. It's a robotics bill put in by Delegate Woo. This bill originally came in with a fair number of things that needed to be done. We struck the majority of them due to cost considerations this year. Everything is due to cost considerations this year. And now the bill simply has language at the end. Was that language that didn't originally exist? Alistair, I'm trying to read it real quick to see. Or did we
Yeah.
add this in?
So it's pretty similar to what was done before. As it came in, it was a task force to study extracurricular STEM and or rather just STEM and robotics programs, both in the state and in other states, and make recommendations on establishing competitive programs. Rather than establishing task force, it's now a similar bill, but it's focused on having MSDE review the current landscape of STEM and robotics extracurricular programs in the state and make recommendations on the feasibility of implementing statewide requirements and potentially having competitive STEM and robotics programs.
A little less expensive than, but probably nearly equally effective, or maybe more so than a task force. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, I think a task force takes time to stand up, and MSD was gonna under the old bill, they were gonna be the group tasked with staffing the task force, so they would have probably been doing the bulk of the work, so it's probably pretty similar.
Okay. I see a hand up for Delegate Roberson. I don't know if that was from a vote before, because it does that, or if you have a question.
It was really kind of a question just around the research of it, just because I'm thinking of, like, for instance, the what is it, e-gaming, you know, like you have those that play video games or sports, and I don't know if that falls within that category. So, and you know, if that falls under STEM or whatever. So I don't know how prescriptive or proscriptive we are in this, but just you know, hoping we'll be open-ended in that. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Do tell, Ali J, what's your assessment of that?
So it is pretty open-ended as it is written. There's no definition given. However, I think what is envisioned here is the sort of things like in my high school, they called them mathletes. I don't know exactly what they're referred to in this state, but they're sort of extracurricular programs in which people do solve math programs competitively or do science things competitively. I don't think it probably includes or build robots competitively. I don't think it probably includes playing video games competitively, but I think it would be up to the State Department of Education to define, narrow, or broaden their scope of what exactly they were looking at when doing the study.
Thank you.
Delegate Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, so like with Brunswick High, like I said, very, very, very small school. but they were able to have the robotics team that's going on to the regional championship. So, you know, these kinds of things, robotics teams are actually very, very competitive around here. So happy to support. So this would be trying to do it throughout all the high schools then?
Yeah, I think it's going to add legitimacy to the movement
Yeah.
really here and try to get some more. I went to the robotics competition at UMBC. It was great.
Mhm.
They build them out of Legos and they have to do a certain task and they all look similar but not the same. The kids come up with stuff. And so there's two things that we look for. I know in math and in science, there was innovation. They had to kind of think of things themselves, and there was also teamwork. They had to work together. And they were really good things. They were doing innovation or problem solving, either one. It was awesome to see them. And they were super proud of their work, man. They were
Mhm.
great. So I agree with you.
Mhm.
And if I could just do it in 4 words, I agree with you. That'll do it. So much fun doing that, isn't it? All right. All right. Any other comments on the bill? Okay. And so on the amendments to change it over to MSD rather than a task force. Do I have a motion on the amendments?
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion on the amendments? We've had plenty from Delegate Miller and I, but maybe somebody else wants to say something. All right. All in favor of the amendments, please raise your hand. 6-0. There's that little hand that goes up. I hate that. All right. And now on the bill as amended, any discussion or a motion?
Move approval on the bill.
Thank you.
Second.
And I have a second. And so any further discussion on the bill? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the bill as amended, please raise your hands. And we're 6-0. And I think that's all 5 bills, isn't it? Alistair, I went out a little out of order. Did I miss one?
We didn't take
Organ
up
donation. I'm sorry, I was already open.
Mark.
I was already open to organ donation. That's why I thought we did it. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have one more bill to do. It's kind of a new one. It pops up, but it's the vice chair's bill, and people bring bills to our attention, and they come and she's in and out. So suddenly it was like, oh yeah, we should do this. So here we are. This bill is really very softly written. It does not require any curriculum on organ donation, does not require kids to sign up for organ donation. We're going to get this on the floor. I expect to be stood up on this one. It just says, if the department develops, updates, or approves curriculum guidance resources around organ donation, they will use a qualified nonprofit entity to get some information and procurement organizations serving in the state only. And then it says they may use or reference existing educational materials that were previously developed are being used, but it's all under this kind of if that are age appropriate, evidence based, consistent with Maryland. So it's just really saying if you do it, it's really another way of pushing it up a little bit to say if they do this, this is how they should do it. There's no curriculum requirement here, and there's no requirement that kids sign up to organ donate. There's no coercion to ask kids to organ donate in this bill. So in that way, it's good for kids to know that it exists and be aware of it. So I kind of like the bill. Delegate Vogel, and there's no amendments on this one, right? Alistair, we got none. Good.
So
Okay.
in practice, Mr. Chair, what does the bill do?
It says, it just gives instructions for the most part.
Yeah, if MSDE is doing anything that has to do with organ donation, they just need to make sure that they have are consulting with this group that knows what accurate and ethical organ donation behavior is. Like I can't necessarily speak for the origin of the bill, but I assume there might have been an incident in which that didn't occur, and so this is probably trying to correct that. Is my guess.
And in the same way, another bill, it pushes the concept up since it's here in law, then it might incentivize the State Department to come up with something really valuable here. Doug Vogt, is that okay? Does that answer your question? You have a further one?
No,
Okay. Anybody else? Questions on the bill? All right. No amendments, so I'll take a motion on the bill if there's no other questions.
move the bill.
Thank you. I got a
Second.
favorable one. I
Second.
got a second. Thank you all so much. You're getting you're making these pregnant pauses so much shorter. I really appreciate that. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of the bill as amended, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us, 6-0. And now, Alistair, I think we've done all of the bills that we have on our agenda. Is that correct?
That
Okay.
is correct, sir.
And we're scheduled for another one tomorrow at
1 p.m.
1 p.m. Okay. So just, put it in your heads or on your calendars. And it may be one of the last ones. We may have a quick polish up over the weekend, Friday morning or Saturday morning. But we expect tomorrow to get to the bulk of the bills that we want to get to if we can. Yeah, Alistair, I see that look. All right. And with that,